Welcome, everybody, to Who's Your Band? I am Jeffrey Paul. I'm joined by my co-host, Sean Morton. How are you, Sean?
I'm lovely. I'm sipping on a nice hot tea with my new cup that you inspired.
Yeah, a little chamomile?
No, it's a lemon ginger herb tea with a little honey for my throat. And it says, I wish you were fluid.
You know what? I fucking can't already take this show. We are, I think, not even 30 seconds in. You said throat. I'm already annoyed.
I did that on purpose. You know why I did it on purpose? It's an ongoing joke. Went to a Yankee game a long time ago, and we're always in the bleachers whenever we go to the stadium. Always in the bleachers.
Well, you're a man of the people. That's why.
I am. I don't want people to think because I'm a successful comic that I have to sit in suites all the time. You know what I mean? So I'm sitting.
You like to be among. You like to be among there, right? See how the peers are doing. I get it.
Right. Let the common folk, let them know I'm one of them, So the guy in front of us, we're singing the national anthem, and he goes, "True the ocean." So that always stuck in my head.
You should have taken your beer and dumped it on his head.
Wow.
Don't say that.
He's having a good time.
Well, anyway, I've had enough of you for one night.
Good.
I'm going to bring in our guest. Sometimes I go to Ohio. I work this club called Crackpots. It's a fun club. You really need to work at, Sean. But I met this guy down there, and he hosts a game show. He's a great comic. And when we got to talking a little bit, I mean, this guy is like us. He is he's a metal guy. He's a music guy. He's a comic. And I'm very happy to welcome to the show Mr. Lou Santini. How are you, Lou?
I'm really good. It's great to be here. I love talking metal with me. I don't know if what I enjoy talking more, comedy or metal, and now we get both on the same show. Come on.
Right.
That's exactly how Sean and I feel. It's like people think sports is my first love or comedy. It's definitely music.
100%. It's always going to be the catalyst that got me everywhere.
It's funny too. I knew I wanted to do comedy since I was 6 years old. Now, I didn't know I was going to do stand-up, but I would have to agree with what you just said because I got my start in entertainment in radio. I was on the radio 4 different stations over the course of 11 years, and 3 out of the 4 were hard rock and heavy metal stations, modern rock stations, and most notably WMMS in Cleveland. And when I did the personal appearances for those stations, that gave me just thousands of opportunities to speak in front of people and be funny. So it was a great training ground. So by the time I cast off the shackles of radio and got into comedy, I had already been in front of so many crowds. It was just a matter of fine tuning.
Yep. And I did the same thing. I was a singer in a band for a long time.
Oh, cool.
So I was able to be on stage and have a little tiny bit of confidence with a microphone. Not a lot, believe me. But that was.
Hey, speaking of singer in a band, Adam, can we pull up the clip and show Lou?
I deleted it. I deleted it off of YouTube.
I know what you're. Well, Mental Health, is that the clip you found?
No. I had
He played. He had a big gig. He was playing this bowling alley in, I think, Linden, New Jersey.
Yeah, Roselle.
I found an old video. I could be misspeaking.
Yeah,
okay, but it was a big gig at the bowling alley, and there were really maybe 6, 7 total people at the gig, but they all came to see Sean's band, and we had video of it. Adam, can we still have that video?
It's deleted. I deleted the video.
Damn.
No, but Adam may still have it. Adam, if you could find
it, was YouTube. It was on YouTube. I did it. It's still there.
Okay.
Were you singing an original or a cover?
No, it was an original, but again, I was 20, I think, or 21. Okay. Because my guitar player and bass player were younger, and I had to book them in underage clubs because they couldn't play in regular clubs that we played at. But yeah, it was. Listen, I still have faith that if I re-recorded this song,
properly, what was it called again?
God Forgive Me.
What was the song called?
God Forgive Me.
I thought you were saying that because of the song.
Already there's this is why it can't be a hit, because it's too confusing. That's funny.
But I exactly it, and I'm not saying because I wrote it. I'm saying at the time that it came out was that end of the hair metal, the beginning of that new metal hard rock vibe. And I was not confident in my voice, so I constantly tried to sound like other singers that were popular at the time.
Yeah, common.
And But Lou, don't you kind of find that with comedians as well? Like when you're new in comedy, you start to take on the persona, voice, 100%. Or even almost act of the comics you emulate.
Yeah, because I think I hear like my founding fathers, my Mount Rushmore, whatever you want to call it, Cosby, Carlin, Steve Martin, and Gary Shandling. And not by any means do I try to imitate their styles, but I'll have certain phrasing or words or pauses. I'm like, that's where I got that from. I'm not, of course, stealing material or mannerisms, which I think, like you said, a lot of new comics do. But I do hear myself in that. I don't think there's anything wrong with when you're first starting out, as long as you're not making money being someone else's act.
Right, exactly. Like I remember when I got into comedy, I mean, I always loved stand-up since I was a little kid. But when I got into it, was really during the height of the Opie and Anthony craze.
Okay.
So they had all the comics on, and they had like the traveling virus comedy shows and stuff like that. That was when I started saying, holy shit, maybe this could be something. Like this is on a different level. And then I started it. And then once I started sounding like I realized the jokes that I was writing were more things that Jim Norton would write, or the way that I was talking was the way Bobby Kelly was acting, or the way I wanted to be was the way Bill Burr was coming off. So it was just like, it took a long time. It took me, I would say, 5 years to really find my voice. And after 10 is when I really got really strong with it.
You said 5 to 10 years. I admire that, because what's funny, I've been doing it 29 years and counting. And I bet you, I don't know if I really found my voice until year 15. It took me a while, because by no means was I trying to. Going back to your other point, I don't think there's anything wrong when you said this is how Bill Burr would sound doing it, or Jim Norton would sound doing it. As long as you get past the part where you sound like them and you have your own take on it. Because, Come on, I mean, you guys know this. Everyone borrowed from everybody, listened to people before them. I mean, I listened to comics that were, my mother wasn't even alive yet. Yeah, because, I think it's important to know that history and go, oh, I see where they get that from, and now where I get that from. I think that's important to know, because I think it has everything to do with your confidence, because if you know whereof you speak and you have confidence in your study of the art and the science of it, that confidence will translate on stage.
And I think it's more of stop emulating their experiences.
Right.
And when you get your voice, you start talking about your own experiences.
Right.
Becoming more genuine.
Lou,
did you want to be a musician, or were you a musician growing up a little bit?
No, I wanted to make people laugh, but I did want to learn the piano, because the first musical artist I wanted to emulate was Billy Joel. I'm Italian, he's Italian, and I heard the song "Angry Young Men" where he plays the piano keys like crazy fast. Yeah. I heard that. I'm like, I have a lot of energy still, even now, and I'm like, I got to do that. But you know how it is when you're a kid. Your attention span is this small, and I didn't master the piano in a month. So I took 6 months of lessons, and I remember by the third week, I asked my teacher, when can I start sounding like Billy Joel? And the look he gave me. So I'm like, okay. So just after 6 months, I gave it up. And, comedy was always my first love. I'm an only child. I think that has a lot to do with it. I gave my first speech in church when I was like 6, and even I couldn't tell you what the speech was about, but my mom wrote it for me on index cards, and I memorized it pretty well. She taught me, how to stand and how to make eye contact. My mom taught me all that, being a theater major from Pittsburgh at the Pittsburgh Playhouse. So I took that speech aside and wrote some jokes in it. And my mom's like, honey, I don't think church is the place to have these jokes. And I said, okay. But I did it anyway. And I got this massive laugh, and this wave came over me. I'm like, that's what I'm doing.
Lou, was the speech on camera angles?
What do you want from me here? Here, I'll put this on my beer can. Is this better?
That's fine. I was like looking right up into your nose caves during that.
Oh, and I got the Italian beak too. Is that better? I put it on my beer can. You happy? Now I got to switch to whiskey.
Yeah, now you're good.
But you enjoy your tea.
That's showing. I'm drinking a little bit of coffee. I got to stay up out of my Mets glass.
Okay, all right.
So a couple things going on in the world of music. Want to run it by you guys. Tell me what you think. I think let's start with the obvious. What was your guys' take on the Bad Bunny halftime show?
Lou, you go first.
I'll make it very easy for you. I watched the first 10 minutes of the game and bored out of my mind, and I turned it off, and thus I never even saw the halftime show. I saw clips of it. Even if I would have watched the whole game, I would have not watched it, so I wouldn't have been able to help you anyway. I'm sorry.
Okay. I have mixed feelings about it. I really do.
Do you like Bad Bunny? Because I know you like Ed Sheeran. You like
no, I don't. I'm not at that kind of dance. Like reggaeton kind of stuff. That just does nothing.
I'd never even heard of this guy until they mentioned he was doing the halftime show. Honest,
he's a monster. Like he sells out he'll sell out the stadium, the football stadium by
really.
He's a monster.
Yeah.
Wow. I understand. Well, one thing I appreciate that he didn't do is, which I think everybody was kind of worried that he would do, was make it a very political thing as far as the stance with ICE and stuff like that. I think had he done that, that would have caused a shitstorm. It really would have caused a shitstorm. I understand the popular music is they try to. I always feel that the Super Bowl halftime show is not meant for guys anymore. It's meant for the wives and the girlfriends and the girls that are at the Super Bowl parties, really. So, why
they pick Kendrick Lamar last year?
I can answer that question.
Yeah.
You do know Jay-Z is under contract by the NFL. He books all the acts. I don't know how. I think it started with Beyonce how long ago, and I think he's good to go for 20 years. So we got to listen to this crap.
You're not going to see anything.
No. And I know what you're saying. Like, well, they're doing it for the girls, and they're like, I mean, not that I give a shit, but it's insulting to the women who definitely probably like football.
True, very true.
And B, it's like if they really wanted to crush it in the ratings, have a really good game and a great halftime show like Prince or when the Aerosmith was there or Kiss or something. I mean, come on. Put it this way. The men who predominantly watch that game, they're going to stick around and watch a good halftime show. And what? The women are going to leave the room? What are they going to do for 20 minutes? It's like they're going to stay and watch too. So why not just crush it?
I just think there was better choices this year that there could have been. And I think the Jay-Z thing is definitely the catalyst for all of it. But I've said a million times, as much of a rock and metal guy that I am, country is by far the biggest genre that's in music right now.
Yeah. Jelly Roll would have been a great choice.
Jelly Roll, Post Malone, Jelly Roll with, even you want to put Brantley Gilbert, put anybody out there. But it just didn't resonate with me. And it's not because of the language barrier. I get it. But, it's just they're not popular songs to everybody. So if you have somebody like Ed Sheeran who's doing it, even a dude who's this macho big ass, jock has heard an Ed Sheeran song.
Sure.
No one knows a Bad Bunny song unless you're a Bad Bunny fan.
Right.
You don't know it. And it goes even further. Like, I listened to people who like him and said that this last album was complete, absolute dog shit compared to some of the stuff that he's put out before. And he wins the Grammy the week before.
Yeah.
So, for
why he won the Grammy the week before, because he was doing the Super Bowl.
That's what I'm getting at. So I don't think it was the worst of all time. I think it's kind of close. It's kind of close, but a lot of people loved it. And the things that I'm seeing online is there's no middle ground. There is very, very little middle ground with this. The people either absolutely thought it was phenomenal or they fucking hated it.
Have they come out with the ratings on this yet? The whole not the whole game itself.
If they have, I haven't seen them yet.
Like only because it was such a offensively lacking game, from what I heard. It was a lot of field goals, a lot of punts, a lot of defense, which yawn. And then you got that halftime show that was maligning. I'm curious to see what the overall ratings for the Super Bowl were.
Yeah, I'd like to see the difference between the first half and the second half, because in the first half, 9 points were scored in the whole first half, 3 field goals. Do you know by the third quarter? Okay, when it was already 19-0 and the game was essentially over at that point, okay, the Patriots had only 84 total yards of offense. Now, if you look at the stats at the end of the game, okay, it's almost even. But the whole fourth quarter, basically those Seahawks played to prevent defense, and they still scored on a defensive turnover.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was kind of like a boring game. I think a lot of people watched. It was a well-rated halftime show because I think the curiosity factor. Now I think, and this is my suggestion for next year. Tell me what you guys think. I think someone like Bryan Adams.
You're never going to get a smaller name like that, even though he's a big name. The only rock band I think that's ever going to have a chance of playing the halftime show is the Foo Fighters or Green Day.
Oh,
Green Day played the opening.
Yeah, but I'm saying like to do the full halftime, because you got to remember too, like I said, there's a lot of people who don't know. Your average person's going to know a lot of Foo Fighters songs, but like
Metallica. What are we doing?
Oh, listen.
It should have been Metallica this year because they're from San Francisco and the game is played in San Francisco.
Yeah. It was a no-brainer.
I mean, Metallica's a no-brainer because, I mean, granted, I mean, three of us could go into deep tracks, but I mean, they have a lot of as soon as you play Enter Sandman, you know how insane the stadium would be?
And okay, off the top of your head, the two of you guys, right? Metallica's playing the halftime show. You got 20 minutes to do 5 songs. What's your set list for 5 songs?
Doesn't have to be in the order, but they're going to do Enter Sandman, For Whom the Bell Tolls, Master of Puppets, One, and probably a newer song to throw it in.
What do you think, Lou?
Well, I would say Master of Puppets, but that's about heroin abuse. I just don't know if they would do it. Definitely One. The Unforgiven doesn't rock enough, really.
Maybe Creeping Death.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with that, but Battery.
Yeah, Battery would be a great intro. Actually,
Damage Incorporated. Are you kidding me? I'm gonna lose that would fire some people up for sure.
I think 100% you open with For Whom the Bell Tolls. You go into something like Sad But True. You may do Seek and Destroy, Harvester of Sorrow, and then one is too dark. And then you got to end with Enter Sandman.
I think they do like a little medley, like of a couple songs. Like they'll do like one song where it's like a little bit of Puppets, a little bit of One, a little bit of Seek and Destroy.
You bring who's like a female singer, like Lady Gaga, someone who wants to be Miley Cyrus, come out and join them on stage.
You get to Lizzie Hale from Hailstorm.
Yeah.
Oh, she would be great. But I'm talking about someone who has like a big name crossover appeal that people.
Metallica did the song with Gaga at the Grammys a million years ago, and it was botched because it was a bad audio for that show. But yeah, she sang with them, and I thought it was really good.
It was a terrible introduction too.
Yeah.
Remember Laverne Cox introduced them and didn't even mention Metallica?
Yeah. I do remember that.
Song. That was brutal. So now the flip side is, did you watch any of the country version of the halftime show, the Turning Point USA, Kid Rock?
Yeah, I watched a little clip. It's so pathetic. Kid Rock is who he is, right? He is who he is. He has a specific market, whatever. But like he's singing American Badass, right? And you're seeing these stuffy white Republican.
I don't think he even did it.
What's that?
He didn't. I don't even think he did American Badass.
Yeah.
Did he? He opened up with that. My name is Kid. What's that song called?
Ba with the ba.
Ba with the ba.
Yeah, I can never pronounce it. Okay, whatever that song is called, he opens with that lip syncing. The worst than anything Corey Feldman's ever done.
No shit, really.
Yeah, and then he did like some slow song, and that was pretty much it. I didn't watch the whole thing. First of all, it was very boring. You can't come out and do ballads, especially when 2 of the 4 people are basically no names, and the one real headliner does the least amount of time. I thought the Turning Point USA one was an extreme disappointment.
Yeah, well, I think they were so intent on like, oh, Bad Bunny is, it's sexuality and debauchery and everything else. Let's be wholesome. And then, so that's with all the ballads. So, look, I worked in radio 11 years. You guys did radio. So often the decisions on what to play were not made by people who love music, but rather are just going by stats and numbers. I think sometimes, like you were saying, they watered it down so much to go the complete opposite direction. We're going to make it inspiring and wholesome. It's like, you still need to rock out with your cock out and just not do that stuff. That's all. Get artists that are beloved.
Well, what did you say? They need to do what?
No, I said they still need to just, rock out with your cock out and just get artists that are actual beloved, that are known. I mean, Kid Rock's got a ton of songs, that he could have chosen. I mean, he has that one song, Don't Tell Me How to Live. That would have been perfect for that show.
You know,
I smoked pot with Kid Rock on his tour bus. You know that?
What now?
Do you have a story?
I do have. I smoked pot with it. Yeah, before "Devil Without a Cause" came out, he was a rapper basically. You know, I don't know if you knew that, Jeff.
Yeah, I love Kid Rock.
Well, he put out 2 records. Like the one was called the Polyfuse Method, right? So he was opening for these guys that I know, and it was a Sunday matinee show. That's how long ago this was. It was a matinee rock metal show, right? And so that the band goes on. He actually recorded, and I'll find it somewhere. Adam, you can maybe find it somewhere. It's a band called Murder One, and they did a cover of "No Woman, No Cry" by Bob Marley.
All right.
And he went uncredited on the backup because he had just signed the deal for Devil Without a Cause. So he was there doing promotion, and we were bullshitting. I was like, "Oh, you're really cool. It was really great with blah blah blah." And he was like, "Oh, thanks, man. Here, take this, man. This is coming out in like 2 weeks, man. Here." And he hands me a promo copy of Devil Without a Cause. He had played like half the fucking songs, and he was like, what's going on around here? Whatever, blah, blah, blah. And I said, not that much. He goes, you want to smoke some dope? And I was like, sure. And we just like that. And we went on his bus, and Joe C was there, and we just fucking smoked our brains out for about 20 minutes. He went on his way. I went on my way. He became a star. I'm your co-host.
Wow, look at that. Look at that. Yeah, and by the way, I always thought Kid Rock was underrated. But, I get it. Ba with the Ba. That was off his first album. But, I mean, the man he mentions his influences often in his songs. He's definitely got the blues in him. He loves straight ahead rock and roll like Bob Seger. He mentions Run DMC, Springsteen. He mentions his roots come shining through. And I watched that little intimate concert he did. I believe it was at Graceland in front of the gates. It was like 150 people, and man, that band crushed it. They played tight. They played a lot of the hits. They didn't do any of the rap rock stuff, but it was all still just a great song. A lot of great covers, too. The guy's underrated.
Yeah, I've seen him live a couple times, like recently, too, about 3 or 4 years ago, and he played Prudential Center. That's not a small place.
Right. Yeah.
And he blew the fucking roof off that place. He was great.
And by the way, he's not 20. The guy.
He's in his late 50s.
Yeah. I think he's like 54. I mean, the guy plays like performs like a young man, and I just think he's the real deal. I've always liked him. I love being. I have 2 rules when it comes to music. One of the rules that I have is, what's everyone else like? Yeah, I'm not liking that. Or I'm not going to jump on the bandwagon just because everyone else did. Look, I worked in radio 11 years, and man, I'm so sick of Pearl Jam, I could kill myself, right? I don't have one single Pearl Jam song on my iTunes library because, when you're on the radio, you're played it 3-4 times in a 4 or 5 hour shift. You get sick of music way faster than the average person. I just never got it. And then I was so glad I never really bought into the Pearl Jam thing because I still don't like them. I just don't think the guy has a good voice. Their music depresses me.
It's funny you say that. My best friend was a former the rock DJ over here for a million years too. He says the same thing. All this stuff that you played on the radio that he had to play, you'll never catch him playing in a car.
No. You're just so burned out on it. On the other hand, I love discovering bands that didn't take off. I mean, I've never been the guy like, they sold out as soon as. I was just talking about that with someone today, how when I first started in radio, all the college kids, God forbid a band gets signed to a major label and get a hit. Oh, they sold out. I'm like, is that the point of being in the tough music industry to make money and sell your fucking music?
It's true, but there's also that little lore of seeing the band.
I see what's happening here tonight, right now. I see it. Okay, go on. I know. Don't play kid gloves with me, Morton. I know you already. You conspired before the show started.
What happened?
But go on.
That's a terrible thing. You're one of the closest people in my life. You think I would ever back?
Yes, in a heartbeat.
I absolutely would.
What just happened? I have no idea what's happening.
This is like two old gay men fighting right now. Apparently.
Lou, do you know where Sean blew it?
What? Where?
Okay, now he's on the bus with Kid Rock, smoking dope. What dope? What am I, Quincy?
He's smoking the pot.
Yeah, smoking the pot. You're smoking the marijuana. Okay, but so you're on this. Why didn't you give him your mixtape? Why didn't you give him a tape of the band?
I didn't have one.
And what was the name of the song again?
God help me.
Why are you making fun of art?
I'm making a copy of God Help Me.
You're making fun of art. That's not nice. Those lyrics came from my soul. Those lyrics came from a dark place in my life, but you feel the need to, just make fun of it. And that's okay. Understand something. If it wasn't for God Forgive Me, Jeff, you would never know me.
Okay. Listen, you missed an opportunity. In case that opportunity was to happen again, I would like you to be prepared. I think you should go back in the studio, re-record God Only Knows. Is that what it's called?
God Forgive Me.
That's it. God Forgive Me. Record God Forgive Me. Okay? And then I think you got to hand out. You should be like those black guys in Times Square handing out their tape.
No, you do comedy. That's your merch. You give them away or sell them.
Do you think I didn't do that? You didn't think I would be at Lemoore every fucking Friday and Saturday night handing out demos and like that happens in Times Square? Of course we did that. You had to do that. It's the only way you got your name out. This is before the internet.
So a couple of other things that were in the news. Again, you're old. I don't know if Lou mentioned it. He was into rock. Okay, he's into rock. Was a DJ. So I'm sure you know the band Twisted Sister, right?
Of course, sure.
Okay. So this year, this was something like the 40th anniversary, maybe 50th anniversary of Twisted Sister. They've been around since the 70s. Yep. I don't think a lot of people don't realize that. They were supposed to have a big reunion concert, and Dee Snider had to pull out because of medical issues that had been going on for quite a while. Although I just saw him 2 years ago, and he was great. So. Any thoughts on Twisted Sister canceling a reunion tour?
I don't think it's as big as they thought it was supposed to be.
I said, if he has health reasons, I mean, come on. I get the show must go on, but there's something to be said about, hey, if we're going to do a reunion, we want to sound and look our best. So we'll put it off for a little while and get dialed in, and then we'll do it. I don't believe in rushing it as long as it's not like in their days where they were super popular and touring, all year for years.
Yeah. It started off a little rocky. Mark the Animal Mendoza, bass player, didn't want to do it. I don't think he was actually joining them on stage on this. He didn't want to put on the makeup again. JJ French, who's the band manager, manages Seven Dust and all these other bands as well.
He's busy.
Yeah, but he looked at the opportunity to make some money. Eddie Ojeda wants to play. Dee would have done it. But I think you may be onto something more. And I don't know if there is a demand. Like, where would a Twisted Sister reunion tour, what kind of venues would they play?
They'll play 4 shows at the Paramount in Long Island.
Theaters.
Festivals. Festivals and theaters. That's
theaters, yeah. They're not doing arenas, but they're doing theaters. Or they could do like what I just see that's coming to Cleveland, the Clash of the Titans again. They're doing like Overkill, Testament, and some other thrash metal bands. They could do some kind of themed, show like that at a theater, and they'd crush it.
Yeah, get like 2 or 3 like like a Firehouse Twisted Sister with like Kicks or something like that, and that'll sell it out.
Well, I know the guys in Firehouse. I mean, when I worked, I've interviewed hundreds of bands in radio, but Al McKenzie, the bass player for Firehouse, he was in a local band out here in Ohio called Fox. And I forget exactly how he got the call. After the show's over, I'll give you his contact info. I bet you he would talk. That guy's got stories because he's played with everybody. He's been all around the world with Firehouse and Warrant, Kicks, and what was the other one they're doing shows with? Winger.
Oh, wow. Didn't this singer in Firehouse die recently?
Yeah, about 2 years ago. And they got this new guy what's funny is Al says, he's half our age, but he has like an old soul, so there's no awkwardness about hanging with older guys on the bus or when we tour or whatever. But the guy's got great pipes.
It's so hard to even find a young guy. Like right now, openly soliciting lead singers is Skid Row. You have like 3 main guys still active in the band, and they just can't get the singer right. I mean, they had the guy from Sweden, Eric, who we saw.
Oh, he was amazing.
He was excellent, but he had health problems. Yeah. I think everyone who is a Skid Row fan really would love to see Sebastian back in the band.
Never happened.
But it seems like there's such a split, such a divide over there. I would love to see it one more time.
Boy, if Tim Ripper Owens wasn't busy with his new project, he's another local guy here, right from Ohio. I mean, literally 10 minutes from where I live. He's back touring with KK Priest and Judas Priest. Plus he had his own project there for a while, but he's got that Sebastian Bach,
he's great.
Upper register.
We had him on the show.
Okay.
And he was a phenomenal guest. And I had interviewed him with Don Jameson. Don had a show on Compound Media, and we did the interview, and then we did an extended interview on here. And a club in Ohio, in Cuyahoga Falls, the Comedy Stop.
The Funny Stop.
I was there. And after the show, who came up to say hello was Tim Ripper Owens.
No shit.
Great guy. Also was on an episode of Bar Rescue. A lot of people don't know that.
Yeah, if you have time for a quick story about the movie Rockstar and Tim Owens, I can tell you.
Go for it.
We'd love to hear it.
All right, so we do know the movie Rockstar, Mark Wahlberg.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
and you guys know that's loosely based on Tim Owens' life.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wasn't it supposed to be a Judas Priest stock, kind of like Rocket Man?
No, what they did is they changed just enough of the storyline so they didn't have to pay Tim much, if anything.
Gotcha.
But initially, I thought the project was supposed to be really about him.
No, it's funny. I was living in L.A. at the time. I was relatively new to L.A., and I remember I was always getting casting calls to be an extra in the crowd scenes for that show. And so one of my friends was like, don't do it. Those crowd scenes, you're there for like 17 hours, or the money sucks. No. So, all right. So when I worked at my third radio station, Rock 107 WRQK in Canton, I had a lot of local bands on my show. I was the only DJ in all of Northeast Ohio that put them on my show. I would actually not only play their music, I'd bring them in. And I would always, these guys would come in with their girls and beers and everything else. I just said, please, no swearing, no company names, that kind of thing. And I would always get in trouble for it, but my ratings were through the roof, so they couldn't do shit. So I wanted to get Tim on there really, really badly. And he was just so busy. And here's how I knew Tim was going to be the guy that was really going to break through. Because while all the other local bands in Northeast Ohio, not all, most of the guys in the local bands were getting high, getting drunk, trying to get laid, and smoking and drinking before, during, and after a show. I'd be at a club doing a personal appearance for the radio station. Tim would be behind the building doing scales and drinking warm water. Mm-hmm. I mean, this guy was taking care of his instrument. So I eventually... he was in another group, a local band called Winter's Bane, and I think one other cover band in addition. It was a Judas Priest cover band in addition to something else. I have the guys from Winter's Bane on my show. Tim finally agreed, and a couple other guys. And I asked him, I said, all right, in a perfect world, what is your dream gig? What's your dream job? Thinking he would mention like Wembley Stadium or something like that. The other guys in the band go, here we go. And I go, why, what? And Tim said on my show, he goes, I always wanted to be the lead singer of Judas Priest. Years go by. I start working at getting called up to the majors, so to speak, at WMMS in Cleveland. Pretty much the most prolific station in the United States. They broke a lot of big artists first before anywhere else in the world. U2, John Mellencamp, Rush. I mean, David Bowie. I mean, they were the first ones to play any of these artists, all of them. So I'm working at that station. And while I'm there, I get a side job hosting local television. Winter's Bane gets a shot opening for Pat Benatar at Blossom Music Center. Holds like 22,000 people. I'm doing my local TV show. It's kind of like a localized version of MTV, and I'm interviewing Tim. I go, Tim, it's been a couple years since I saw you last. What's new? And he goes, I'm the new lead singer of Judas Priest. And he said, just similar to that movie, someone got a demo tape or whatever to those guys, and they knew they were kicking out Rob Halford. I think they were in Michigan, and that's how he got picked up. And just like the movie, they flew him out to, I think, Germany, somewhere in Europe. He's auditioning. And they say through the talkback button and the recording studio, like, what do you want to do? And he goes, how about Painkiller? And the guys went, okay, go ahead. He sang it for 30 seconds. Like, all right, that's enough. Stop. You're in. That's it. And he called his mom, and his mom didn't believe me. He had to pass around the phone to the guys at Judas Priest, like, no, really, I'm in the band.
That's great.
And Painkiller is probably like one of my top three. So I love. It's one of the few songs that opens with a drum solo.
Damn right. Yeah, exactly right. And I have that. I mean, that, in my opinion, that really saved metal at the time, even though it wasn't on the radio. It really, that album just was that when they're that age and cranking out that caliber of just thrash metal with crazy hooks. I mean, you watch those MTV or those YouTube videos where they have guys like listening to Painkiller for the first time and they review it, their heads explode. And you're right, they open with one of the hardest drum solos. I can't think of any harder way to start a song than to have the drummer just rip into it right out of the gate.
And then once you think it can't get harder,
right,
that guitar lead comes in and it gets harder.
Yeah. And the band Sodom did a cover of it, and he sings it even higher, believe it or not. It's worth one listen. It's not something I listen to every time. The original is far better, but that's crazy.
You know, I think sometimes we'll talk about topics here. I think one of the most underrated live albums of all time, because, you know, I mean, Kiss Alive 2 are great. I think the Aerosmith double leg bootleg is great. Priest Unleashed in the East, to me, is a top 5 all-time great live album.
Yeah, I'm not going to argue with you. The fact that I didn't even think of it till you mentioned it, you're absolutely right. It is underrated.
You know, because when you think of like studio versions of, say, Diamonds and Rust or Green Manalishi, they're not as good as that live version. Much like live at Budokan, I Want You to Want Me is not as good as the live version on Budokan.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with that.
Yep. Okay, so a couple of other things before we wrap it up, and we're going fast. Sean, I thought you talked about this last week or a couple of weeks ago. Were you considering going to Rockville, the Rockville Festival?
I like the idea of festivals. I've done a million of them, you know, over the years. I am not physically or spiritually equipped to be around that many people for 4 days straight. So while the idea of seeing maybe 80 of my favorite bands over the course of 4 days, you couldn't fucking pay me to go to Rockville or any of those like multiple day even an all day concert. I would need to call every person I know who was able to give me a copy of the set times, and I would get there 10 minutes before the first band I wanted to see.
This is a guy that couldn't handle going to see Elton John outdoors.
It was hot. Okay. It was 102 that day.
Oof. Yeah, well, I might be with you on that temperature. You know, that's the thing too. It's like when all those years I worked in radio, I didn't pay for a CD or a concert shirt or a seat for 11 years. I had to turn down a lot of shows because I was actually on the radio. A lot of my time on the radio was 7 to midnight. And boy, once I got out of radio, the idea of paying for a ticket and getting the nosebleed seats and not being backstage or not on the side of the stage. Hell, I used to bring some of these bands on. I'd come out and introduce them. You know, it's like, and now I'm back with all the suckers. Instantly think of Goodfellas. Like, now I'm a schnook. Now I'm a sucker.
If you ever get crappy seats, this is what you do.
Oh, God.
You go to the public relations people, go to the box office, and you say, hey, listen, I don't really want to do this. I don't do this very often, okay? But I'm kind of like a pretty well-known comic, and they'll upgrade you.
Is that right?
Yeah, it's worked. Yeah, people have done it.
All right, well, I'll do that. And they say, what's your name? And I'll say, Jeff Paul. And then they'll see what
I will say it was one of my finer moments in my life.
Tell Lou the story. This story never gets old.
Real quick, again, Buddy, the DJ, gets us all free tickets for Metallica. He's on the floor. I'm 2 rows from fucking God, okay? Get there, you know, horrible seats, but we're there. The girls got to go to the bathroom. I'm like, let's all go. I'm drunk off my ass. I get off the escalator. Guest services. I go, hey, I have a question. Can you upgrade our seats? And they go, why? I go, well, a couple things. It's my friend's birthday, shows the license. And I go, look, I don't want to say anything, but I'm kind of like a pretty like known comic around here. And, you know, I don't want to, you know, I want to just, you know, get a little closer. And she goes, you give me tickets to a show? And I said, sure, sweetie. And she handed me 4 tickets. So I went from second to last row at MetLife Stadium to 14th row from the stage.
I don't know which is worse, that or you calling the girl sweetie.
So she was a lady. She was a lady of color. I had to talk to her a special way. You know what I mean?
You should go, now looky here, sweetie.
All right, well, let me ask you this question. It's not my show, but I have a question for both of you. Best seats for what concert have you ever had?
Best seats?
Best seats you ever had. What was the concert?
I mean, listen, I toured for 19 years with bands. So, I mean, I have been all over everywhere. But just going as a pedestrian, I mean, I've been in the first 3 rows for so many. Chicago, Cinderella. I mean, there's 17th row dead center for The Cure. Just a couple of years ago, the guys I toured with, they're still doing Billy Joel. I took my family. There was 12 of us. 7 of us got dead center 12th row for Valentine's Day, and the others we got first row in the 200 section at Madison Square Garden. Yes, I mean, I've had great seats for, just about everybody. I'll tell you something else I did. Working with Led Zeppelin at the Atlantic Records 40th anniversary concert. This is maybe late 80s, like around 88, I'm assuming. And they were about to do like a little bit of a warm-up. They're going to run their set. They're going to do a sound check. They're going to do a 25-minute set. I may be one of 20 people in Madison Square Garden that got to hear that set and watch it.
Wow.
That's pretty badass. I can't joke on that. I hate that I can't joke on it.
And of course, this is the day before phones where you couldn't record anything for posterity. But that's why it's such a bitter memory for you, because you just burned it in your brain. You soaked it in. You were there in the moment.
Yeah.
It's, there are things I can't remember my son's phone number. I could remember the set. I could remember where I was standing during that. I mean, it was surreal, man. Like, you just couldn't believe it. I mean, I took an elevator up, because Madison Square Garden, you drive in, and the arena is on the 5th floor. So their black sedans come in, and the band comes out, and it's Robert Plant, Jimmy Page, John Paul Jones, their manager, Jason Bonham is playing the drums for them, and it's this little crew and me going into the service elevator, and I'm their chaperone, I'm their guy, I'm their contact for the rehearsal. Incredible.
Wow.
And then a couple of years later, the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame inductions used to be held at the Waldorf Astoria.
Right.
And I used to work that every year too. And Page comes off after he just got finished playing and gives me his guitar. That was...
You still have it, I hope.
No, I had to give it back.
Oh, I would have ran.
I see what you're saying. Okay, I'm like, how is he giving you his guitar? Guitarists just don't do that.
Yeah, I'm thinking for a little bit, I'm going to have this guitar. And then his guy came over, was like, he needs it back.
I actually was the second DJ in the world to broadcast from the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, the Air Studio there. Yeah. And I actually got to walk through it while it was being built. MMS, my radio station, was instrumental in getting the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame back to Cleveland. And then I actually covered the live ribbon cutting of the actual Rock Hall opening, and Yoko Ono gave, you ready for the speech? Here's the speech. Wowee, Creedrin, what'd you do? End of speech.
That pretty much says it all.
I know, and I'm on the radio live. I go, hey, now we're listening live to Yoko Ono, thinking she was going to give this great heartfelt speech. I think John Lennon would be proud. Who knows? And she says that, and then me and the news director, I'm like, I mean, I can't make fun of this. So I just got real quiet and just changed the subject onto something else.
The words of Yoko Ono. Sean, what was the best seats you ever had for a show? Besides scamming people out of, what was it, Metallica?
I think it's not the best seats, but it was the most important show, I think. So my favorite band's a band called Life of Agony. So if you're a metal fan, you may have heard of them, right? Broke up. I kind of found them at the very end, and they broke up. I never got to see the original band live. So I saw them with Whitfield Crane from Ugly Kid Joe, who sang with them, right? Never thought they were going to get back together, blah, blah, blah. January 3rd, 2003, Irving Plaza, they have their reunion show 6 years after breaking up, and I was on the rail. So I was literally right in front of the stage for the entire night. And I've been to maybe 1,000 concerts in my entire life. I've never been to a show where you could actually feel like legit electricity in the air. Because they're a New York band, so it was all the New York crowd. It was the most intense show I had ever been to. And I think to this day, it's 23 years later, it's still the most intense show I ever went to.
Wow.
And I was on the rail seeing the whole thing right up front, but I got the luxury of them filming it. So it's actually on DVD too. So I can actually go back and actually see like the most important concert that I ever went to.
That's cool.
Yeah, you know what? You were that close. You should have given them your tape.
Okay. So, all right. Hold on. Hold on. Backpedal a little bit. So I'm in the band. Now Life of Agony breaks up, right? So now their bass player is their main songwriter and writes all the lyrics, everything. So that, for me, was everything, right? He starts a new band, and they're playing the local scene. Okay, so now we're playing with them. So now I'm like, oh my God, it's my favorite band. I'm opening for the guy who's in my favorite band, right? So then we record a live, like a little live EP. That was that, right? So I had, back in the day, they had the little mini discs. Do you remember those? You could put one song on the mini disc, right? So that's what I was burning and giving out to everybody. So we're at the same place. I don't think it was that show. It may have been. I don't remember, but I handed it to his wife and I said, do me a favor, just give this to him later on and see if he'll play this, right? So after the set, he goes, yeah, I got it. I'll see you down, whenever. But a couple months later, I see him and I go, hey, did you ever play that CD I gave you? And he goes, yeah. So what'd you think? He goes, I liked it better when I wrote it 14 years ago. And he walked away. And I was like, the fuck does that mean? And then I played the song and then I played his and I went, I mean, the lyrics are completely different. The same timing, the same chorus line, like the same, like the syllable drop, like everything was fucking identical.
You were a hack.
Dude.
Oh, it was bad. Hack. I felt like dog shit. I felt like complete dog shit. I never played a song again.
Oh man. I like the mini disc, the disc equivalent of the Ka-single.
Oh.
Remember the Ka-singles?
They were shit. Okay, remember they didn't have enough weight, and they would constantly get caught up in your gears. Remember, because they were the worst. All right, so I just want to run this by you. We have a couple more minutes. Have you ever heard of this expression? This is like a new thing. This is what all the kids are saying about a certain type of music. I want to know if you guys know who the artist would be in this type of music. Have you ever heard the term cigarette mom rock?
Yes, I have. I just heard of this last week. I just heard of this. So this is like the equivalent of divorced dad rock, which is like Creed, Seether, Three Doors Down.
So what is cigarette mom rock then? Give me an example.
Cigarette mom rock is Alanis Morissette, Tracy Chapman,
Melissa Etheridge.
Fiona
Apple, all like the big women popular 90s.
Wow, rock. There's a genre.
Right?
Yeah. Cigarette mom. What does that even mean, cigarette mom?
Because back then they all smoked cigarettes and now they don't.
Now I'm looking at my iTunes list. I'm all suspect. I don't know what I got here that might be in that category.
Oh, you're definitely a cigarette mom rock type of guy. You're like Cole. Were you a fan of Courtney? Was it Courtney Love? Were you a fan?
Yeah, she might be in that. Cigarette mom rock.
That Veruca Salt, like bands like that would all fall.
I saw Veruca Salt at what used to be what is Starland now. Used to be called Hunker Bunker.
Yep.
I saw them there. They were great.
I saw them open up for the Foo Fighters. And then, the whole story that he was fucking around with the girl from Veruca Salt. And he wrote Everlong, the lead singer.
The blonde?
I think so.
They're both cute.
They fucked around together. And the song Everlong is about her blowing him.
Wow. Did not know that.
Yep.
Wow. That's information you can't say on the air.
We just did. There's no rules in this podcast.
No, I mean the radio air.
We take chances, man. We're risk takers on this show.
I got to tell you, my best seats ever. It was Metallica during the Black Album, and their stage is shaped like a triangle. And the seats that I had were a triangle within the triangle, and they were dropped down chest level. So it was just me and 12 other people from the radio station, and it was just so cool. And it was one of the few. I'm sorry, but I wear earplugs at a lot of the concerts I went to because I wanted to save my hearing down the road. That was the one show I didn't have to wear anything. I could talk in an absolute normal tone of voice to the guy next to me because all the speakers are going out.
And you're underneath it.
And we're underneath it, and it was just so cool because I'm literally at foot level. I'm chest level, his feet right there to watch, Hetfield rip it into it, and all of a sudden he'd give a nod, and the stage would drop down. I'd look underneath the stage and see him run on the catwalk. He'd give a nod, boom, he'd pop up somewhere else. Those seats, they're in the Black Album. I'm not saying that's my favorite band or concert, but those are the best seats I ever had. And I've been, like I said, on the side of the stage, front row, bringing bands up. But just to be working at the station there, those seats were unreal.
What's the best venue you've ever seen a concert at?
Oh, that's easy. There's a venue in, I don't even know if it's still there anymore. It's on the west side of the flats called Nautica. It only holds about 3,000. I love the intimate shows. You start getting over 3,000. I love those more intimate shows. Because you're outdoors and you get a perfect night and looking at, the lights and the stars and everything, and you're just seeing a bit. That venue is just, I think it's really good. A lot of people would argue Blossom Music Center. Jeff, I think you said you've been there once.
Blossom Music Center.
It's right. It's near the Funny Stop. It's in Cuyahoga Falls, Ohio. The first 10,000 people are covered by a pavilion. The rest is outdoors, like in this beautiful grassy hill.
What is it? Every amphitheater. I don't know if you've ever been to the one in Hartford, this one in Jersey. Anywhere you go, man, all these amphitheaters are basically, all these Live Nation amphitheaters are basically all look the same.
Well, so, I'll tell you what, that's not true because my favorite venue is actually out in California. It was the old San Manuel Amphitheater.
I was going to say, if you were going to say, my favorite is Red Rocks.
Yeah, I thought for sure that's what you was going to say, too.
No, I never been to Red Rocks. Never been to Red Rocks.
Fucking pretentious, tea-drinking, dopey lead singer / somewhat comic is going to...
let's go see Mumford & Sons at Red Rocks.
Yeah.
God,
maybe the Lumineers will be there next week, and we could all yell, hey, at the same time.
Did you ever go to that? The San Manuel Amphitheater in San Bernardino.
No, you know what? I'm not too far from there. I'm surprised I haven't been there. But I will say also Peabody's Down Under in downtown Cleveland. I saw Radiohead there for their album, The Bends, and it's like 500 people standing right next to Tom York right before he gets up there. And the guitarist was so deathly sick. But that guy, he's like, I'm not giving up the show. And they brought out a bar stool. He just leaned on it the whole time because his legs are weak from flu. But that concert kicked ass.
Yeah, you know what? I tried to stay away from Cleveland. I almost got mugged in Cleveland one time.
Cleveland is great. It's such an underrated city. I was there. I loved it.
The best
rivers catch on fire over there.
They act like the whole lake was an inferno. It was like a 3-foot patch of water in 1968.
That's how they wrote "Smoke on the Water."
Yeah, the best bill I ever saw. And again, they're not all my favorite bands, but what a cool bill! Reverend Horton Heat opens up for Babes in Toyland, who opens up for White Zombie, and that was at Nautica. I've seen the Heat at least 6 times. They're one of my favorite bands to see live. Last time I saw them, they closed with a cover of Ace of Spades by Motorhead, and the place went berserk. It was just so damn good. And Babes in Toyland, a very underrated group. I always thought that Courtney Love, Babes in Toyland was what Courtney Love wishes she could have been, but without the street cred.
We got to get this question in before we wrap this up, okay? Right. Because the name of the show is Who's Your Band? You're very passionate about music. Who's your band? Who's your favorite band?
Me?
Yeah. Yes.
Megadeth.
Wow.
Okay, so now I'm going to ask you this question.
Go ahead.
How do you like the Ride the Lightning cover on the new album?
You know what? I love it, and it's not. I always like Ride the Lightning by Metallica, but hearing the vocal abilities of James back then, not so good. He's not the seasoned vocalist he is now. And the recording quality wasn't as good. And knowing that Dave Mustaine, co-wrote that damn song, I just really I thought those last 2 songs on the new album, and I went and saw the documentary, the last 2 songs were so good because he ends with a song that rocks, and then the song ends and he just kind of talks and says the last goodbye, and then he ends the album with a bonus track being Ride the Lightning, so it ends hard. I'm like, God, it gave me chills. I'm like, what a great last 2 songs of an album.
Lou, who had the number 1 album, not rock album, just who had the number 1 album last week on the Billboard charts?
Was it Megadeth?
It was Megadeth.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah.
It was Megadeth. They don't get radio airplay.
No.
Okay. It was Megadeth. Are you going to go see them this year? They're touring this summer with Maiden and Anthrax.
I really do, but damn, those ticket prices are up there, man. They're starting. The closest venue to me, I think it's in Columbus. It's a couple hours away. They're starting at $463. Then you got all the fees, and then you got to spend the night. You got to drive, and it's going to be a $1,500 weekend.
Well, let me tell you something. If you had a good co-host, okay, like Sean does, you would be going to see that.
Is that right? Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah, Megadeth is my band. I mean, look, and like I said, it's not Megadeth or Metallica. I just Megadeth. I think the lyrics are smarter. I mean, a lot of my favorite metal songs. I mean, Holy War's "Punishment Due" I think is the best thrash metal song ever written. And I just, hey, look, I admit it. The guy's voice is not there. It's not about that. It's about the lyrics. The drums, Dirk Verburen, if I'm saying his name right. That new drummer is just kick ass. I love that dude.
So if you're a fan of the Big Four, I'm going to tell you the best show I went to last year.
Hold on a second. Who do you think is the Big Four?
In no particular order: Metallica, Megadeth, Slayer, and I'm not saying it's Anthrax. I'm sorry, I don't think it's Anthrax. I think it's probably
it should be tested, in my opinion.
No. The controversy is online right now. If you go like on X, this is what people are arguing about, and they're saying it shouldn't be Anthrax. It should be Pantera.
I agree.
Well,
I would take Pantera. I believe really single-handedly saved metal as the way we all grew up on it, because that album came out during the grunge phase, and no one was playing anything like Pantera, and they got no radio airplay. And they have longevity. They're great musicianship. I mean, they're a solid. I saw them with White Zombie, and they're legit.
I saw them 5 times in the 80s. They were one of my favorite bands of the 90s. I followed them everywhere. And the thing I loved about them, too, is they broke out with Far Beyond Driven, right?
Sure.
One. They come back with a great Southern Trendkill. And it opens up with this loud guttural just – and they got heavier.
Yeah.
They went from a jump from Vulgar to Far Beyond Driven. It got very heavy.
Yeah.
The production was better, but Southern Trendkill is just – 10 times heavier than fucking Far Beyond Driven. And that was a weird thing. You always see like when a band kind of gets really big, sometimes they get a little more commercial and they kind of slow down a little bit, or they tweak their sound. They just went fucking through the roof. And I think that actually hurt them a little bit.
Well, the other thing, too, is if you've ever been to a Pantera concert, it's one of the few thrash or heavy. I almost would call them groove metal more than thrash metal.
Power metal.
Right, yeah. And that's one of the few metal shows you'll see a lot of women there because there's a groove. Every time I play Pantera, my fiance, her head starts doing, whatever, so that they get into it more.
Great live band. Lou, can't thank you enough for coming out and doing this. Tell us a little about where people can find you, what you got coming out.
Yeah, they can just go to my website, lousantini.com, LOUSANTINI.com. I'm on Instagram, lou.santini3, and Facebook, Lou Santini Entertainment. And I don't do all the other stuff because I really hate social media with every fiber of my being.
It's a good way of staying healthy, man. Or mentally sane.
Yeah.
Guys, follow Lou. Really funny comic. He's taped an episode of Less Comics.
Comics Unleashed. Yeah, Comics Unleashed. I got a dry bar comedy special called Amateur Nation. I used to have a podcast myself called Amateur Nation. I stopped at 300 episodes. I just figured that was a good time to stop. I got busy with other stuff, and then Comics Unleashed. I got a few things in the queue here that I won't talk about until they break. But you guys want to talk metal or comedy anytime, I'm with you.
So 300 episodes. What are we up to, Jeff?
We're almost at 200.
Oh, yeah. Wow.
I'm done at 2.
You got to make it to 300. No, we got to make it 301.
You're not. Okay? There is no chance on earth this is ever making.
The whole reason why I want to take Sean to Iron Maiden is it'll be a long day, and I'm just going to yell out like generic stuff. I'll yell out rock and roll. Okay, I'll do that. I'll be next to him like rock and roll, and then like I'll say something that I think is really funny, but no one else will think it's funny.
Much like your act.
Much like my act, right? and I'll yell out like, "Play Freebird,
Skinner."
Yeah, Skinner.
That will fucking always bite you in the ass, and it bit my friend in the ass. My friend's that asshole too, always yelling out, "Play some Skinner," or what. So like one day we're at a fucking show, goes Slayer, and the fucking guy just starts ripping into friggin' the riff from Raining Blood during sound check. And he was like, "Oh fuck, okay," that never did it again.
By the way, I had an argument with some people the other day. You can use this as a later topic. What do you think the heavy metal national anthem would be?
It's a good one. Well, Lou, we definitely got to have you back on. Okay. Thank you so much, guys. Really, this was a fun one. This hour went by so quick. Follow us next week. Next week, another great show coming up. And any suggestions, please put it in the comments below. Okay. For Who's Your Band, Sean and I saying, see you next week. Bye, everybody.